more often than not, we are wanting to take action. And we go to take the action, but we're met by this resistance. And off that resistance, we feel a little bit stuck. And then we can feel a little bit more frustrated and a little bit more resistance, and we feel even more stuck. And then that has a little spiraling effect where we get to the place where we actually don't take the action. Even worse, we actually totally give up and go, nope, I can't actually do this. It's like that flow state. We want to get into that flow. We're met with resistance yet again. And it's like, but I want to do this. And then I think, oh, I will do this. So we'll try to push, and we'll use our willpower and our determination to push through, try to take that action and make it happen. And while that strategy can work and does work, it takes an awful lot of energy and effort to keep that and maintain that process. And then what a lot of us do find is in that pushing, in that willpower of using that energy, we're burning the energy. And then what's happening is we'll get to that place again of a little bit stuck and a little bit like, oh, getting that resistance again because my energy is falling, my energy is going away, I'm getting a little bit tired and I want to keep going. And then you may even keep going and then you may hit a little bit of a brick wall. It's using our imagination, using the divine creative aspect of knowing what we actually want, seeing it how we want it to play out, how we want it to come into fruition, then using the divine masculine aspect of ourselves to actually take the action and getting to a point in that process of taking action with enjoyment, with ease, with flow, with grace, where there is very, very little or zero resistance to the whole process. How do we actually go about clearing resistance so we can actually take the action with enjoyment and actually get into that flow state and enjoy the whole thing? Because once we get into the flow state, once we're taking action, that builds upon itself, and then we can take more action and we're in the flow state even more. And then we build our competence. We can actually do this. That builds even more confidence. And then we can tap into those flow states even more easily. So how do we actually clear the resistance? And one way of doing it is using parts integration. And it's a very simple process. What you do is get yourself in a place where it's nice and quiet. You can just be with yourself. Get the thought process slowed down by whichever means necessary. I find breath awareness probably one of the best ways to get the thought process down to a very manageable level, so it's not spinning us around and we're not getting distracted too much by our thoughts. Just sitting with yourself and following the breath for a little while, maybe a few minutes or so, just breathing deeply and just watching the breath. So once you've got yourself to a place where you're relatively calm and the thought process has slowed down, then you can go in and do some internal work and talk to yourself and reveal to you where you've got this resistance. So what you can do is you can actually ask part of yourself that's got the resistance, what's its intention behind the resistance? And it will usually be a very younger part of you that's got this resistance. It's built up some program or belief in the past that's running this. You can prompt it and ask in a very loving, compassionate way. Just ask what's its positive intention for the resistance, because every part of us has actually a positive intention. What you'll find is that behind the resistance, the part will give up along the lines of it's trying to keep you safe on some level. Then what you can do is you can ask that part, once you've got safety, once you feel that you're safe, what's your intention behind that? And then what you'll find is that part of you was looking for something else, and that something else is going to be along the lines of happiness and joy. And then you can actually take the process a little bit further. You can actually say, when you get that happiness and joy, what does that give you? And you can repeat that process until you're looping. When you're looping of it's just giving up happiness and joy, you know then that part is just wanting happiness and joy. You can say to that part, I want happiness and joy too. And you can negotiate and say, look, do you want to come forward with me now with this happiness and joy without having the resistance I want happiness and joy without the resistance. You want happiness and joy without the resistance. Come along with me now. You're safe to do so. And let's explore this further. Once that part knows that it's safe and it wants to achieve that happiness and joy, or whatever that is for you, it will be willing to drop the resistance, because it knows that was what it initially wanted. It just went about it. Oh, you know, as we grew up, it had all these different, you know, beliefs and programs running in the background, and all these things that we put upon ourselves. So, like I said, once it knows it's safe, it will give up and go, yeah, I wanna achieve that too. I want the happiness. I want the joy. Let's go forward with this. And you can ask all different parts of you what it wants. So there might be resistance to flow. So you can ask that part, what is your resistance to having flow? Go through the process again. You will find at some level it's trying to keep you safe. And it might sound silly. Why would part of me try to keep me safe from having flow? Something might have happened in the past where there was something of wanting flow, or actually in the process of flow, that caused upset or distress, and that part backed off and caused the resistance. It was its only way of knowing how to help you, how to help itself, by causing this resistance or stopping the flow state, causing these sensations in the body. And we'll get these sensations and we'll go, oh, there's that sensation again of what I'll call resistance. We're blocked again. Once everything knows and settles down and comes back to the place of, yeah, okay, I am safe here. Yeah, I am safe to be in the flow. I am safe to take action. And I want the happiness and the joy that goes with that. It's just a case of playing with it all, not taking everything too seriously, because as we get to our adult selves, we've got a tendency to take things quite seriously. And those younger parts want to play. Spirit just wants to play all the time. So play with it as much as we can. Be joyful and be compassionate and be loving with it all. Be playful. That's one of the key aspects to getting into a flow state and taking action, is to enjoy it, to be playful with everything. Like I said, we take things way too seriously, and we wonder why we block ourselves and we get stuck. So once you've gone through a process of talking with yourself, reassuring yourself you're safe to take action, test it out. What you can do is you can clear yourself of some of this resistance, take a little bit of action. Don't go diving in, taking the big action steps that you want to, because there's still going to be resistance there. And it's just a process of knocking these out the way. Clear yourself a little bit, take a little bit of action, test it out. Where am I with this? How am I feeling with this on this action step? And you will notice there will be less resistance to that. That will give you the competence and then the confidence to go in, do the process again, clear yourself a little bit more, take a little bit of action. As you keep doing this process of clearing and taking action, you will feel even more confident to take those bigger steps of taking the bigger action that you wanted to. And while we all want to get right there straight away, that usually can cause us a hindrance of wanting to jump straight in. And that can actually work for some people. Some people can jump in the deep end and just swim. But many of us, we get that stuckness and we get that resistance. We have to take things slowly. We have to take things with patience and ease. And in taking action with ease and grace and slowly doing this, then we can actually speed up at some point and take quicker action and get in the flow state quicker with everything. It just takes a little bit of baby steps at the start. And at some point, without even thinking about it, you'll be taking action. You'll be in a flow state, and it will dawn on you at some point, oh yeah, this is actually happening quite easy for me now. Now, what else can I do with it? How else can I play with it? What other action can I take? And in that process of wanting to take even more action, brings forward that happiness, that joy. The enjoyment of actually doing what you wanted to do that was in your imagination. You just didn't know how to at the start. So as you come back to your creativity, as you come back to your flow state, and as you're taking action with everything, just remember that balance was always key with everything. And in the balance of doing everything is our creativity, our flow, and all the other things that we've been wanting to have in our lives come into fruition. Give it a try, see how you get along with it, and any questions, pop them in the comments below. Let me know how it goes. Much love. Take care.